Hi friends, today I'm finally sharing how I set up my reading journal for 2021, and I just want to thank you guys for patiently waiting for this because I know this was supposed to come out a lot earlier, but I kept thinking of extra things I wanted to add in my journal, which meant putting off this video, and I think I just put this pressure on myself to make sure I didn't miss anything. So this really is a reflection of how I am a work in progress and that I'm always going to be adding new things to my journal. I think for this upcoming year, 2021, I really want to be a person who spends less time planning and more time taking action and making decisions. So for a lot of these spreads, I have said, let's move on. Done is better than perfect. So let's just get started. So the notebook that I'm using is from Archer and Olive, and it's called the Morning Sun Dot Grid Notebook. Compared to the Lamom one that I used in my 2020 reading journal, I would say that the binding here is definitely a lot better and the pages are more white. So I would recommend this over the other one, but I do have to say that this one is definitely more expensive. If you want 15% off, I have a referral link, but I think it'll be worth it because the one that I have right now, if I want to flip through it, in 5 years, it could possibly just disintegrate on me. But this one I feel like will hold up over time. In terms of the supplies, like pens and such that I used in this journal, the black pen that I use is mostly always going to be the Uniball Signo UM151 gel pen in 0.5. And I found that as a left-hander, this has the least amount of skipping, and I really like how the ink flows. It is comparable to the Muji one, except the construction of the pen is much more comfortable to grip, and I feel like the ink flows more evenly with this Uniball one than with the Muji one. And this clear triangle ruler I bought years ago for an art class that I took in university, when I thought I wanted to major in interior design, but we will not talk about that today. Apparently it's called the Professional Ruler. Going back to the pens, I really like Zebra Mildliner highlighter pens for coloring and also highlighting. You'll see in the spreads that I show you exactly how I use them. And then for calligraphy, I have only used the Tombow Fudenosuke black pen in the hard tip, and I definitely prefer the hard tip more than the soft tip because it's easier to control, and I found that I definitely need more practice with it, but so far it's been nice to use, and I feel like a lot of people recommend this one, and I also use it for coloring in any black squares that you might see, black rectangles, because I've found that this white pen from Uniball, it writes a lot better on whatever the finish this black pen is compared to like water-based pens. The white pen on the Tombow Fudenosuke, it sits on top of the color, but with any water-based black pens, it kind of sinks into it. Okay, now that all that is out of the way, I can finally show you what's in here. So we're gonna skip this page since I didn't do anything. And then this page I also skipped because I don't like flattening this. I think it looks weird. But I know that this is important for the notebook to stay together, so I'm grateful for this page. Okay, so this first page is the grid spacing cheat sheet, and nothing has changed about this compared to the one that I did in my 2020 reading journal, except for the fact that I used highlighters to mark out each section, and then also made these numbers a little bit more prominent. So I do use this reading journal mostly for reading, but there are some other things in here that I like to keep track of, and this page is my goals and accomplishments. So this first section is just kind of like the person that I want to be in 2021, and then at the bottom here I want to keep track of the things that I accomplish. I often forget the things that I've accomplished or the things that I'm proud of, so that's why I wanted to keep this little section here to remind myself of what I have and remind myself of where I've been and kind of like where I'm going. So that's that in this one page. So this is my looking back at 2020 page. As you can tell, I haven't filled it out yet, and at the point of completing this journal, I hadn't decided what I wanted to do yet, but I was looking on Instagram today and I saw that a ton of people were doing like 20 things that I did in 2020, or like their accomplishments or goals that they've achieved. And I kind of like that because 2020 has been a year, and even though a lot of things have gone differently than we planned at the beginning, I still believe that there have been good things, and so I will take some time to reflect on that before 2020 ends, and that's what I'm planning to add on here. And then this page, I took this idea from my friend Allison on Instagram. Her username is Booksta and Bujo, and she's one of my favorite people on Instagram because she's so creative and she's so funny. So if you are not following her, I highly recommend her page. But this is basically, as the title says, the best of 2021, and on here, and hopefully on here too, which I've left blank because I'm hoping to fill out 2 pages. Every time something exciting happens or memorable, or even just like anything, even if it's mundane, anything that I really like, I'll add it on here just so I can look back and remember those days. So these pages I've left blank because I want to use it as a space to collect random pieces of small artwork that I get throughout the year. So things like business cards and receipts, and just anything that I think will be encouraging and inspiring. Obviously, there's nothing going on right now, so it kind of looks silly, but I will keep an update of it throughout the year and show you as I add things on. And then for this spread, it's basically all the media that I am recommended and then all the media that I watch. So I don't actually watch that many TV shows and movies, so that's why I've kept it to 1 page. But on this left side, I've included sections for movies to watch, TV shows to watch, music to listen to, and then podcasts to listen to. And I don't know what possessed me to write my titles this way. If I could go back, I would do them differently, but done is better than perfect. And then on this left side, I've split it up into 3 different columns. The D for date, because I couldn't fit the word date in here, so the date I finished the TV show or movie, the title of it, and the year that it was published in parentheses, and then my star rating out of 5 stars. Okay, so these 2 spreads are kind of related. This left one is a spread for the Talk to Me in Korean lessons. So this year in 2020, because I'm recording this in 2020 for 2021. In 2020, I started learning Korean just really slowly, so I'm not an expert at all. I barely know the language. I am trying to learn. Okay, and then this right side is similar to the one that I did in 2020, in my 2020 reading journal. Sorry if that's confusing. But this is a spread for all the BTS content that I watch online. If you don't know, BTS has a ton of like variety show content and like docu-series, so there's a lot to go through, and I like to rewatch every year because it's entertaining. And then I left these 2 pages blank, not for more inspiration space, but just because I didn't know if I would need any more pages in the beginning to add to. So I just left these here in case something comes up throughout the rest of the year. And if I don't fill it out, it's totally cool, it's fine. Okay, so now we're getting more into specifically reading spreads. And if you've seen my 2020 reading journal, these spreads are going to be very similar. I've just taken the ideas and kind of switched it up a bit to fit more into what my reading year is going to look like, or what I think my reading year is going to look like. So I kept the My Reading Year in Pixel spread. I haven't figured out which colors I want to use yet, but basically I keep track of how many pages I read every day. for January 1st, if I read 52 pages, I'm going to color it with whatever this color I choose in this first spot. And then everything that I start, I am going to put the title right there. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I will finish the book, just that I tried it. And then this next page, I did a little teaser on my Instagram. This will be the page where I write out each book that I read, the title, and then color it based on the format. So whether it was a physical copy, audiobook, or ebook. This next spread is another way to look at all the books that I read in 2020, or that I will read in 2021. This is more of a list view, while this is kind of like a visual look. And so I'll put the title here. I'll check whether it was a 2021 release, the number of pages, and then I'll color in my star rating. So this is something new that I'm doing this year. Instead of drawing the stars, I had a stamp set that included these. It is a reading list stamp set that I don't think it's available anymore because I bought it literally years ago. If I can find something similar, I will link it in the description. But this side is also something that you've seen before. I will color in the specific day of the month when I've finished a book. And then I've added more pages for this books read list because, as we know from the 2020 reading journal, I ran out of space very quickly. Okay, this page. This is the reason why this video took so long to come up, because I had plans for it and it went so bad. I had to redo it so many times. So basically, I wanted to color this instead of tape this scrapbooking paper on top, but it just turned out so ugly that I had to cover it up. And even now, I don't really like it, but it is something that I'm going to use very often because I love keeping up with books that are coming out so that I can put them on hold at my library. So I've just listed out when the books are coming out, and so I've highlighted the days, and to the left of each title I've written the day that it comes out, and then of course the title and the author. So I'll continuously add on to this throughout the year. And then I decided to cut the top off of these, not this one, I don't know why I touched that one. I decided to cut this top off so it would, keep the same header, since I was already having trouble. Okay, so for these spreads, it's a little bit more book blogging specific. On this left side, it is a list of all the NetGalley early copies that I am accepted to read. So I request these titles and they, say yes or no to me. But these are titles that I read this year that are coming out in 2021, so I still wanted to add it to this list. So on this side, I took this idea from Riley at Riley Marie, and basically it helps me figure out how likely I am to enjoy a book from a specific publisher or their imprints. So let's say, for example, I rate a book from Wednesday Books 4 stars. So I would choose this color, whatever color I decide it to be, and color it in here, and then I'll put Wednesday Books here. And it also helps me see how many books I read from a specific publisher or imprint. So let's say I only read that one book from Wednesday Books. It means, like, throughout the whole year, I would kind of take a look at it at the end of the year and think if I should keep going back to Wednesday Books. But I love Wednesday Books, so I will definitely be reading more than one book from them. Just an example. Okay, we've made it to the last page so far in this journal, and it is the book series tracker, which I did do last year and a ton of people liked it, so I'm bringing it back. And I know that I didn't read a lot of books in series in 2020. I wasn't really trying that hard. So for this year, for 2021, I've really pared it down to 6 series that I really want to finish. Is that 6? No, that's 7. 7 series that I really want to finish above the line. And then below the line, I just added series that I want to start. I'm keeping it as simple as possible. And that's it. That's my 2021 reading journal. Thank you so much for watching if you stayed until the end, and I hope to come out with more journaling content for you guys in 2021. Thank you so much for the love that you've given my 2020 reading journal video. I really didn't expect to get that many views, so I'm truly humbled and honored. But let me know if you are going to start a reading journal in 2021, and let me know what you're going to read. All right, thank you. Bye bye.